Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video we're going to be creating our image message bubble, which is going to be a widget class which is going to be used by our custom list view tiles widget to actually display image messages inside of it, which this class in turn, the custom list view tiles class, is used by our list view builder to actually display the messages data for each specific chat inside of the list view. So now that we have a basic understanding of what we're going to be creating, the next thing that we need to do is that we need to actually go back to Cloud Firestore, and we need to actually add a message to Cloud Firestore to one of our chats, which is an image message, so then that we can test it out. So for now we have these two messages. As we can see, both of them are type text, and what I'm going to do is that I am going to try to actually create an image message. So creating an image message is fairly simple. The things that we need to take into consideration is that the content for the message is going to be the URL for the actual image that we want to show. So for that, what we have to do is that we can first go to Google, and I'm going to search images for a city. So I'm just, for example, taking London as an example. And from there, I'm going to take this picture and I'm just going to copy the link address. And then from there, I'm going to go back to Firestore. Inside of Firestore, what I'll do is that I'll click on add a document. And here I'm going to generate an auto ID. And then I'll say that the content for this message is going to be the thing that we just copied, which I think is this URL. But this is not the correct one, I can see. So let's just open this image up first into the website, and then from the website copy the image address. Maybe this way it'll work better, because the URL that I see is just the search URL, not the image URL. Yes, this URL looks correct. So once we have this, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that the type is going to be string, and it's going to say image. With this, I'll also have a sent time, and that'll be our date time or timestamp, sorry, and it'll be today's date. And then I'll just say that it's going to be 14:46, and then let's just do 12, for example. It's a random time. And then the field is going to be our sender ID, which I'm going to add in a bit. So now that we have this, I'm going to go to one of the messages, and I'm going to take the sender ID, and I'm going to add that for the image message that we just sent. So here we go. With this, I'll also take this content and I'll copy this URL and I'll just paste it in Google real quick to make sure that we can actually see the image. So I didn't copy it correctly, but C, Command C, and let's see if you can see. Yeah, we can see the image. So that means that the image link is correct and we shouldn't get any errors. So with this, now we can go back to our Firestore database, or I mean our Flutter project, and we can try to create our widget class inside of there. So our class is going to be similar to how we did for our text message bubble. So I'm going to create a new class, and I'm going to call it image message bubble, and it's going to extend a stateless widget with widget. With this, I'll open the class definition up and I'll add some properties to the class. The first property is going to be a Boolean property, similar to what we had for the text message bubble class as well, which is own message. With this, I'll also have a chat message that gets passed into this image message bubble class, and that's going to be our message. So this is also a property. Then we'll also have a final double, and that'll be our height. And then we'll also have a final double, and that'll be the width. With this done, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create an image message bubble class, and I'm going to add the curly brackets inside of that. And with this, what I'll do is that I'll start adding the properties as the required arguments when this class gets initialized. So first is going to be this dot is own message required, and then I'm going to do this dot message, and then with this required, and then I'm going to do this dot height, and then required, and I'm going to do this dot width. And with this, what I'll do is that I'll add the build method for our actual widget now. So inside of our build method, we're going to be doing some similar stuff. So our color scheme is going to be exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to copy this color scheme variable logic, and I'm going to come down and I'll paste it here inside of our build method because the color scheme is going to be exactly the same. Once that is done, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I am going to create another variable which I'll call decoration image. So it's going to be a variable of type decoration image, and I'll call this underscore image, and I'll set that equal to decoration image, and then I'll say that it's going to be image, and then we obviously have to give the image a network image because the image that we're going to be displaying are going to be network images. And to get the content, we're going to do, or to get the URL, we'll take the message and then its content. And with this, I'll do the fit as well. And the fit for this is going to be box fit dot, and I do not know why it's not working, but box fit dot cover. With this, I don't know why it's doing that, but I add my parentheses, add a semicolon, and that's pretty much all we had to do. So now that we have our decoration image defined and we have our color scheme defined, I'm going to return the container, which is going to be responsible for actually rendering our information. So the container is going to be fairly similar. So what I'll do is that I'll go to the top and I'll copy all of this container code. So for the text message bubble class, come all the way down, and I do not know, but like, yeah, container, and then I'll just come down, and here I'm going to return the container and do command save. And now after the reload, we can make sure that we have no errors, so we can now begin the process of actually changing some of the properties. So for our container, we are going to be adding a property which is going to be padding, and the padding is going to be edge_insets.symmetric. And once I've added that, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that the horizontal padding is going to be the width, and then I'm going to multiply that with 0.02, and then I'm going to also have the vertical padding, and that's going to be the height of our image, and then multiplied with 0.03. So this is height that gets passed in. And I'll do Alt-Shift-F command save just to kind of like aid the formatting, and I'm going to add a comma here as well just so that the formatting looks better. Now that we have the padding defined, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to, for our actual container, remove the two properties of height and width. We do not need them for this. Now that that is done, the next thing that I'm going to do, that is I'm going to go to the decoration attribute, and I'll make sure that the decoration attribute is set as follows, where we have a box decoration. It has type of border radius, and the border radius is border radius.circular, and this time it's going to be circular 15. We have a gradient, and the gradient gets the color scheme. It has the same stops, and the begin is going to be this time the bottom left, and the end is going to be the top right. With that done, we can move on to our column. So our column is going to have the main axis size be max. Our main axis alignment is going to be space between this time, and our cross axis alignment is going to be start. With that done, I'm going to go to my children's list, and the first children, as we can know now, is going to be replaced. It's not going to be displaying just the raw content of the message, but actually a widget that is going to show us an image. So for that, what I'll do is that I'll remove this child, and I'll say that we'll have a container. And this container is going to have a height, which will be the height that gets passed. It'll have a width, which will be the width that gets passed. Then it'll also have a decoration attribute, and the decoration is going to be box decoration. And then this box decoration is going to take in a border radius, because we need to define a border radius, and this is going to be the internal border radius. So if I go to the completed version of our application and to a chat which has some images inside of it, so let me just wait for the simulator to kind of launch that. In the meantime, I can wait for the code. I can complete the code while the actual app loads up, but I do not know why it's taking such a long time. But I'm going to say border radius.circular and then 15, and then I'm going to, with that, also have an image, and the image is going to be of type decoration image, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is that I'll give it the decoration image that we had just created, which if I go to the top, here it is. So I'm going to copy the variable, and I'm going to come back to where we define the image for this, and I'm going to paste it in and do Alt-Shift-F. And it's giving me an error, I believe. for some reason. Let me see. Oh yeah, so I just have to add a comma and do command save. So with this, we've actually changed the container, and the reason we added this box decoration inside of this container is because if we go to our actual chats, to one of the ones which have some images inside of them, you're going to see that our images also have these rounded corners, and that's the rounded corners that are being added by this box decoration. And then that's why we added this border radius. So now that we have an understanding, I'm going to close the completed version. I'll go to the main version that we're making right now. And with this, I am going to make sure that my app reloads, which it did. So with this, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a size box in between the two different widgets that I have, which is the container and the text widget, because I just want to add some spacing. I'm going to say that it's going to be height, and then it'll be height, and then I'll do times 0.02, and then add a comma, and I'll Shift F, command save. And then for the text widget, which shows our formatted date time, that is going to be exactly the same, and that's pretty much all we had to do. With this, what I'm going to do is that I'll go back to my custom list view tiles, and since I had already imported this file in the previous video, message bubbles, I should have access to the new class that I created. So in my tertiary statement, where I check for the message.type, and depending upon what type it is, I render either a text message bubble or a text message or just a simple text widget. For now, I'm going to remove that text widget. But before we do that, I'm just going to go back to a chat which actually has this image URL being shown, as you can hear. And then I'll remove this text widget. And I'm going to say that instead of the text widget, we're going to have an image message bubble, and I'll click on enter. With this, we'll pass isOwnMessage as isOwnMessage. We'll also pass the message to be message. For the height this time, what I'll do is that I'll say that it'll be the device's height, and then we'll multiply that with 0.30. And for the width, it'll be the device's width, and we'll multiply that with 0.55. So just some values that I kind of worked with, and I checked to make sure that they were kind of working with how I wanted things to be. So with this, what I'll do is I'll do command save, and you're going to see that the list re-renders, and now we're seeing this beautiful picture actually being displayed to us. If I go back to my message bubbles and I kind of go back to the point where we define the container that contains our image, and we know that it's of type decoration image, if I go back to the image where I'm defining it, this variable, and I change the box fit from, for example, the fit for the image from box fit cover to, for example, box fit fill, let's just say, and I remove the T here, so add that, and do command save, you're going to see that the way the image is displayed kind of changes. And according to, or what my testings concluded, was that the best way was to actually kind of use either cover, which kind of shows you an image the best way it can while preserving the aspect, or use scale down, which also was something that was working kind of good. But I went for the cover for personal reasons, because I like the look of it better than the other thing. So with that, we've actually defined all of the logic that our custom list view tiles had to have inside of it. We've defined the two message bubble classes that we required, one for image message bubble and one for text message bubble. And I see that you can now kind of get an understanding of how you can extend the logic to support, for example, video messages, or for example, to support navigation messages and things like that as well. But if you feel like that's something you'd like to also have being featured in the course, then let me know, and I'll try to work on that and then get a video uploaded on those topics as well. So with this, I'm gonna end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But before I leave this video and close it, highly appreciate if you can take some time off from the course and go and actually rate the course, leave a good review on it, because these things really help me out a lot. This is my full-time job, so I try to bring you guys the best content that I can. So that's pretty much all I'm going to ask you guys. If you guys have any questions, any queries, don't forget to either ask me directly on Discord or post a question in the Udemy Q&A section. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So have a blessed day, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.